What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Get ready for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, GRANxJEFE, joined as always by my co-host, OGxRAW. What's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, another good morning in the great state of Washington. Look like we got some good weather here today, so it's gonna be a
Yeah,
good day, man. How you doing?
yeah, y'all got rid of all that snow?
It's still on the ground, but it's going away slowly.
You're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah.
All right, we got a good show for y'all today, and we back full week this week. I know last week we kind of slacked off a little bit, but we had some stuff going on last week. But we are back this week. Thank you for tuning in. However you tune in, make sure you leave us a rating. Let's get into this show. We had an All-Star game last night. Team LeBron beat Team Giannis. At one point, Team LeBron, I believe, right before the half, they were down by like 18 at one point, or maybe even got up to 20. What were your thoughts of the All-Star game?
Man, it was a lot of scoring. It was scoring in bunches, but my thing is, what do we expect from an All-Star game? This is what we expected. I expected Team LeBron to come out and to smash Team Giannis. That was just what I expected because we seen the lineups. We figured Team LeBron let Team Giannis get up just to see, hey, how many points can we be down by? You know what I mean? Before we come back and just punch them in the mouth and win this game and shut it out. And that's what they did, man. Team LeBron, they came out, played lights out for a quarter. If you look at I think the key factor for Team LeBron was Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard was lighting it up from everywhere out there. He's the one that led that comeback. I don't know why he didn't get the MVP, but I think.
Well, yeah, and we're gonna get into the MVP later, but I definitely agree with you on that Dame point. Dame, bit shot Dame. That boy is nice, and he don't get enough credit among the best point guards in the NBA. But he's right there with the top. I think he hit 3 or 4 threes in that third quarter.
Yeah, he's big time for in that fourth quarter. He definitely led the charge. He definitely sparked that energy. And I think after seeing Dame hit those big threes, and I'm talking, he's basically shooting from half court on those 3-pointers. You know what I'm saying? And that lifted the crowd. The crowd got hyped. And then from there, Team LeBron took over.
Yeah, I agree with your whole point there. I expected Team LeBron to come out and just, I mean, when you have LeBron and Kyrie and James Harden and Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson and Karl Anthony Towns, Dame Lillard, how can you lose?
Yeah.
I don't see how you lose. Nobody on Team Giannis impressed me besides Steph. He's really the only heavy hitter that he had. I don't even think I mentioned Anthony Davis. For Team LeBron, this is what I expected. Now they came out slow, and as I was watching this game, I'm like, well, they better pick it up because if they let Team Giannis, separate too far, I don't know if they're gonna be able to catch them. But to your point, Dame in the third quarter was big time. I mean, big time. Coming off screens, pull up, bang. It seemed so easy for him. And then, when everybody else get going, Kevin Durant had 31. I don't mind him being the MVP. He shot efficient and, he 31 points. So who you said should have been the MVP?
I think Damian Lillard should have been the MVP because he had the spark. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that got them to like that point where, hey, this game is manageable. Dame hit the shot to take the lead. You know what I'm saying? And for him to do that, I thought, Dame should have played more in the fourth, but I get it. It's an all-star game. We want the starters in there. And but yeah, Dame was big time. He was big time.
Which is something that, even in his post-game interview, he said he was like, I never got to do that. This is my first time ever closing out an all-star game, which shows you, how important they thought he was game. So, Team LeBron did what Team LeBron was supposed to do. Now, Lakers, you need to make a push for the playoffs. You're 2.5 games out of that 8th seed with 25 games left. And the stat shows that they have the second hardest schedule going forward, so they cannot drop easy games. So yeah, Lakers need to get on your horse now. Playtime is over with. Switching gears, going to the NFL though, man. Antonio Brown, on Twitter, he was having, I guess, like a Q&A, and somebody asked him like, what's the conflict between him and Big Ben? And he, on paraphrasing, he was like, there's no conflict, but mutual respect. He has that owner mentality where he can correct anybody, players, coaches, whoever it is, but he and nobody can do that to him. What does this make you feel any differently about how Antonio Brown ended the season, and going through this offseason so far?
Not really, because we knew Big Ben was the problem. I said it time and time again. Big Ben is the real problem. Either Big Ben goes or your stars go. No one wants to play with an egotistical person at all. I don't care who you are. If you are egotistical and you can't take criticism in a team sport, we should not be playing together. I don't want to play with you. And this is what Brown is saying. I don't have a problem with the guy personally, but you're gonna give me my respect. You know what I'm saying? If you're not throwing the ball right, if it was supposed to be a back shoulder throw and you throwing it over me, oh nah. You're going to hear about this, Big Ben, when I get to the huddle. I don't care. I'm going to call you out. Because if you're going to call me out for running, a skinny post instead of a regular post, then, I'm going to call you out for not throwing the ball right. And that's the thing. That's the problem with Pittsburgh. Too many people have fragile egos up there. Everyone has a fragile ego. And what they need to do, I think, going forward is to take some of that power from Big Ben. Just take some of it from him. If they want to keep stars, take some of the power from Big Ben.
Yeah, I think Big Ben is been the problem. I laid out last week when we talked about this, when Antonio Brown publicly went out and asked for a trade on Twitter, and I said it can't always be the other guys that's leaving. And it's always been one common denominator, and that's Big Ben. I said it. Mike Wallace, they let him go. Emmanuel Sanders, they let him go. Now Antonio Brown, now Le'Veon Bell decided I don't even want to play for $14.5 million. I'd rather sit out the whole year. So it can't always be on everybody else, and it's the culture in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, I think he's too much of a player's coach, which is the reason Terry Bradshaw has said on many occasions that's why he don't like Mike Tomlin. You can be a player's coach, but you also have to know your role. And when you're too friendly, you start letting stuff get away. And I think the organization feels so indebted to Big Ben because, he won a championship so early and he's been the one there, that now he feels or he is, thinking that he can correct anybody, thinking that he can say what coaches or owners are supposed to say to others. And I think it's too late because the behavior is been going on for so long. I think right now, he's what, 30, 35 years old, 36 years old. It's already there, and you've been letting him get away with being the boss over everybody, and it's just too late for that now, honestly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's way too late. And the damage is already done. You already lost your star running back. You already lost your star receiver.
In the same offseason.
Yeah.
Same offseason.
Exactly. And now we know for sure, hey, it's Big Ben. What are you guys going to do about it, Stones? What are you going to do?
Nothing. They ain't gonna do anything.
They're not gonna do anything.
They ain't gonna do nothing. Not at all. But Anthony Davis, man, was in the news this past weekend, over the All-Star break, was asked about, why the Celtics is not on his list. And he said, who said they're not on my list? They are on my list. Then he also said, the other 29 teams is on my list. What do you think he's doing?
Anthony Davis is just playing the NBA's game. They don't want him to say, hey, I just want to be a Laker. No one wants Anthony Davis going to the Lakers. That is bad. That is bad for the other teams. It's only good for the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? And the NBA knows that. So, and I doubt he's trying to get fined again for anything. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they do. this is how you keep everything under wraps. You just give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? You tell them what they want to hear. I go to any of the other 29 teams too as well. You know what I'm saying? This is how you keep it under wraps.
That's what I thought too, because at first when the first few quotes came through, it was just Anthony Davis said the Celtics are on my list, and I was like, oh man, the Celtics got this in the bag. And then I get back on Instagram and I'm scrolling, and then I see Anthony Davis said other 29 teams is on his list. I'm like, this is perfect. He and all he's doing is trolling.
Yeah.
Of course, I go to any team because what you're not going to do is find me another $50,000.
Exactly.
Even though that's a small thing to him, he's making like $29 million this year, some crazy number, So but he's like, you want me to say I want to go to the Lakers? That's what you want me to say, but I'm going to just say, yeah, the Celtics on my list because I've already told you the teams that I'm going to re-sign to. Of course, all 29 teams is on my list because I don't have a choice in where I get traded to. That's management job. But I told you I'm only going to re-sign with a couple teams, and the Celtics is not on that list of teams that has already been put out by Rich Paul, his agent, where he's going to re-sign because everybody know where he's going. He's trying to go.
We already know where he's going. He wants to go to the LA LeBrons and play with the King. And I don't blame him.
This man finna turn down a $240 million contract this offseason. He like that. I don't need that. I'm good on that.
It's about winning, man.
I'm trying to get this ring because they see these stars. That's great. The Charles Barkleys, the Reggie Millers. These guys, and they never get a ring, and you get clowned for it. Shaq do it all the time. He talk about Charles Barkley all the time.
Oh, yeah. That's bad, man. I just feeling bad for Barkley too.
Yeah, man. Chris Webber is as great as he was. Never got a ring. It's tough. So these guys nowadays, they like, man, I'm gonna turn down this money to go get these rings because with these rings gonna come money. Smart if you ask me. Over the weekend, this past weekend as well. I think this happened like Friday after we got off, we didn't come on Friday, but Friday around noonish, was announced that Kaepernick has dropped his case with the NFL, his collusion case. They settled on an undisclosed amount under a confidentiality agreement. What do you make of Cap?
Man, to me, this is selling out. Cap sold out.
Hold on. Before you start saying that, I'm glad you said that because I thought we were going to have opinions.
I thought it was about the money. I thought this was about police brutality.
That's exactly
injustice.
Exactly what I said.
And you go in and you settle with the people that we're beefing with? Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, no, you don't do that.
Yeah.
But you don't do that, man. Like if we're beefing with somebody and we're fighting for a specific thing and they're still letting it go on, they're still not giving you your freedom of speech, and they're still taking advantage of other players doing this, you don't settle for something like that. It really makes my blood boil when I think about it because I supported Cap through this whole thing. And then for him to go out there and do this, man, that's some bull. That is bull.
Yeah, man, those were my exact sentiments. I was so mad because and that's why I put that on Facebook. Like, how many more of these celebrities are going to have y'all fake caring about stuff for their problems?
Exactly.
Because when he, I'm right there with you. When he first started kneeling for the national anthem, he said when they asked him after the game, why is he kneeling? He said it's because of injustices of Black people in America. It's not about the money. I don't care about the money. I'm doing this because innocent people are dying. And this country is not living by the words in that anthem. And you go settle. it's almost like a slap in the face to people that was protesting and not even watching the NFL because of you, and you go settle. And times are even worse now. So I don't really understand where he was going with it. Basically, the NFL settling with Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed. Basically, what that did was that admitted that we were holding him out. Yes, he was good enough to play in the NFL, but he can't even talk about it because they signed a confidentiality agreement.
Yep.
That's how I know that he went in there and sold out.
Sold out, yeah. And then it's confidential. I don't know how much money he got. They probably gave that man $100 million.
Come on, bro. Like, what were you doing? And was this your end game the entire time? Because I don't understand it.
This is definitely his end game. And then, man, I'm so pissed off about it because, like, I've supported him from day one. I'm defending him on social media. I'm doing all this stuff, and then I see he settles. Like, dude, that's like the biggest slap in the face. Even for like athletes like LeBron James who supported this guy, athletes who actually really care about this social injustice of black people, and for Cat to do this, man, he should check himself. Check yourself. Check yourself.
I was so mad when I read. When I'm reading the article, I'm reading it. I'm like, dang, okay, I'm trying to see how much he got off of it, because I know he at least got 50 mil and above.
Oh yeah.
The NFL did not want this to go to court, which tells me you had more of a case not to settle because you were going to be in court. They knew that if we go to court, we won't win this, and we're gonna have to pay him probably 3 times the amount of money that. If we go to court, if we just settle right now. And he took the bait. You know what? Settling, honestly, don't bother me as much as the confidentiality agreement. That's what really bothers me, because it really tells me that you went in there and just
sold out. Just sold out. What you gonna give?
Like
what you gonna give me?
Bro, right before they started telling everything. That's what it looked like.
That dude's I'm done with Cap though. I'm done.
Yeah, boy. Everybody that supported this man, boy, I'll tell you what. One more question though before we end the show. You still staying with your pick, the Toronto Raptors to come out the East?
Oh, you already know it. Even though Jason Tatum said the Celtics gonna come out, but hey,
you're not ready to come out that pick, right? To the Celtics.
Yep.
The Raptors won't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
What?
They won't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Come on, Billy. Hey, we got 25 games up in basketball. And let me just tell you, the Raptors are in the driver's seat in the East.
You better hope Marc Gasol is who you was trying to make him to be last week when he got traded.
Oh, Mark that man. Oh, Mark that man.
Ago.
You about to see.
I hope Mark is the man. I'm telling you right now, the 76ers and the Boston Celtics will be in the Eastern Conference Finals unless they have to play each other before that. If somehow they matched up, but they're on the same side of that bracket, then obviously I'm going to take the Celtics. But other than that, I got the 76ers even beating the Toronto Raptors.
I don't see it with the 76ers. I'm talking about we got Ben Simmons who can't shoot to save his life. We got we got a problem with Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler because we don't know our roles on the team yet. We got Joel Embiid who's like, give me the ball in the post because right now I don't know what y'all are doing, but I'm Joel Embiid and I do things. I make things happen. I'm the process. So I think the Sixers they still have a little problem with Jimmy Buckets not knowing his role, Tobias Harris not really knowing his role because they're both great scorers. They both can score the bucket, but they just got to know when is their time. You know what I'm saying? If they can figure out when their time is, when do they need that person? You know what I'm saying? They're able. I think they will be able to get to that Eastern Conference championship.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. I like Kawhi Leonard. I think he's a great player, but I just think the Boston Celtics, Kyrie, I just that team is deep. Jason Tatum, I don't see them losing. It's going to be tough to beat them 4 times. That's why I'm picking them. I think the Toronto Raptors can be beat 4 times because you're going to need Kawhi Leonard to be great every single game, or else the Boston Celtics getting beat 4 times. I think that's highly unlikely. Even the 76ers now, I think what they've been missing is a veteran leadership, a guy who's been there, done that in the playoffs. That's Jimmy Butler. That's going to be their closer this year. No more games like you saw last year against the Boston Celtics, where it was fumbling games towards the end, and basically lost three games at the end.
I'm over here trying to hit the Kawhi Leonard laugh in my head, but it's kind of hard to do. I don't know how he do it. Because what you're saying right now is hysterical to me. It's hysterical, Billy, because when I look at this Celtics team, they got more problems than the Sixers got. When I look at them, they got more problems because we don't know what Gordon Hayward's going to do. We don't know. On any given night, Gordon Hayward might go out there and give you 30. But on some nights, he's going to go out there and give you 10.
You don't really need Gordon Hayward to really do much.
But I need him to, when he's on the floor, I need him to produce.
That's fair, but he don't necessarily even have to be on the floor. Let's be honest.
So we just gonna sit Gordon Hayward on the bench.
I'm not saying do it, but what I'm saying is they still have Al Horford. They still have Kyrie. They still have Tatum. They still have Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Morris. They still Rozier. They still have players. So not only they are, as I said a few minutes ago, they are one of the deepest teams. They bench is good. They can bring in a whole nother 5 and still play with just about any team in the NBA. So,
hey, but let's not count out the Milwaukee Bucks though. No, let's not count out the Milwaukee Bucks though.
Because I don't believe in Giannis. I said,
I believe. You know what I believe in? I believe that team has done the right move with their trades. They've surrounded Giannis with shooters. So if he's able to make that decision while he's going to the rack.
But he's just not as dominant though. See, what they tried to do was do how every team does with LeBron, surround him with shooters, because obviously he's the slasher. But the other part of that of the ingredients is LeBron's ability to pass the ball. Giannis is the passer LeBron is, so it doesn't work. He's not nearly the shooter LeBron is, which is why in the in the postseason he hasn't won a playoff series yet. Why? Because he can't shoot the jumper. Teams are not going to be playing you up close to let you blow by them. No, we're not going to do that. We're gonna do what Greg Popovich did with LeBron in his younger years. We're gonna clog the paint. You're going to make jumpers. If you hit them jumpers, we'll live with losing. But we're not going to get beat off the dribble. We're giving you 10, 11 tries at the free throw line. We're not going to do that. And that's why I'm not a fan of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they're 1 or 2 more pieces away from being anything. I just do not believe Giannis is that guy. I just don't. Even last night, that's all he was doing.
Giannis was impressive last night, though. He was doing some impressive things last night.
I mean, it's flashy, it's cool, but I don't think he has anything else in his game.
Let me ask you a question. Who wowed you the most in that All-Star game? Who were you like, oh man, who wowed you the most?
I would probably say Dame, honestly. Me personally, I would probably say Dame Lillard.
Yeah, I would definitely say Dame. I mean, the most because
I like pull up jumpers with confidence. I like that,
because I don't have that chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? In the Western Conference, there's a lot of great point guards.
Because he never gets
his credit.
No, he never gets the credit.
He plays in the smaller market in Portland. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's
the standing ovations when they were clapping. I think Dame might have got the least amount of claps.
because it's Portland. It's on the West Coast. They, the West Coast time. For me and you, it's a little bit different because both of us is kind of on that West time. But people that's on the East Coast, ain't nobody trying to stay up till 12 o'clock to watch a game.
Yeah.
Portland play, Phoenix. They ain't watching that kind of stuff. But Dame, I think Dame definitely probably wowed me the most yesterday. He had the most impressive game. But that's going to be it for today's show, guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Unpopular Opinion podcast. Continue to download the podcast. Bro, you want to take us out of here?
Oh, yeah. As always, I'm your co-host, OGxRAW. You guys have a blessed day. Be kind to one another. I'll see you, Billy.
See you, bro. Appreciate you, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow.